In the world of Alzheimer's and dementia research, is there any news? I've been keeping an eye out and I've seen a few things. Let's take a look. Hi, I'm Dave Brown. Welcome to the Dementia Monster channel. I've been watching the news on Alzheimer's and dementia research, and I've stumbled on a few interesting things. What I'll do here is summarize them and give you links to more information so you can dig in more deeply yourself. A study found that having a purpose in life was linked to lower dementia risk. The study of over 13,000 adults found that having a strong sense of purpose in life is linked to a reduced risk of dementia. People with a greater purpose were 28% less likely to develop cognitive impairment, even when accounting for genetic risk and other factors. This was consistent across racial and ethnic groups and modestly delayed the onset of decline by more than a month over 8 years. The findings suggest that building purpose through relationships, goals, or meaningful activities may help keep the brain resilient with age. Something else I found was a study finding two supplements that can affect levels of gamma glutamyl transferase, usually referred to as GTP. This is a protein where low levels are seen in Alzheimer's disease patients. This is something I didn't know. Some study findings, which were published in the journal Geroscience, described how two compounds, nicotinamide, a form of vitamin B3, an antioxidant found in green tea named epigallocatechin gallate, helped restore guanosine triphosphate, a key molecule that fuels energy production in brain cells. In laboratory experiments on neurons, this treatment not only reversed age-related cellular decline, but also enhanced the cell's ability to clear away amyloid clusters, a defining feature of Alzheimer's. But these findings seem to have a long way to go before we get to a protocol. Personally, I already take nicotinamide, although I don't drink green tea as often as maybe I should. Now, we already knew this, but Wendy Suzuki, a rock star advocate for healthy living to fight Alzheimer's, continues to bring attention to the importance of aerobic exercise for brain health. And then, researchers at St. Jude's found that a protein called midkine blocks amyloid beta from forming harmful clumps linked to Alzheimer's. If this checks out, it could lead to breakthrough treatments. Also, researchers at Harvard found a connection between lithium deficiency in the brain and Alzheimer's disease. The research team discovered that loss of lithium in the human brain is among the earliest alterations linked to Alzheimer's, while in mice, reduced lithium sped up both brain damage and memory decline. And then, researchers at Rush University, home of the Mind Diet, believe they found out why the Mind Diet is so effective. Next, in our book, Beating the Dementia Monster, we said that there was a sweet spot for exercise to improve brain health. But too much exercise is detrimental. Here's new research on how it is that too much can be detrimental. Of course, we're talking a lot of exercise to get over that peak for benefit and start actually losing the positive effect. And here's a question. Can AI develop an even better diet for dementia prevention? The Chinese say they have it. Remember that China is second only to the US government in funding Alzheimer's research. Looking further, we note that while neuroplasticity, the ability of the brain to constantly break and reconnect pathways in the brain, is an important feature of how a healthy brain functions. This process may go to excess, though, in persons developing Alzheimer's. As a consequence, higher flexibility in the networks involved with vision may turn out to be a new biomarker for diagnosing the disease. And another one bites the dust. A phase 1 study of a new anti-amyloid beta antibody developed by a company named Prothena found an unacceptably high rate of brain swelling in patients being treated. So it sounds like that one is likely to be abandoned. The successful antibody treatments have been those like Aduhelm, Kinsula, and Leqembi. The new treatment candidate was named PRX012. Of course, brain swelling and hemorrhaging is a significant side effect for all the monoclonal antibody treatments. Now, if you successfully completed 10th grade, you know that adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, facilitates the transfer of energy to the cell. Of course, you knew that. In so doing, the ATP molecule loses a phosphate group that must be restored to recycle the molecule. It's the job of another molecule called creatinine to take care of that. For some time, creatinine supplements have been sold to help facilitate physical exercise by supporting the transfer of energy in muscles. But if you read Beating the Dementia Monster and our blog, you know that the brain uses a lot of energy itself, and creatinine plays a role there too. New research found that creatinine supplementation in older adults, like me, appears to support healthy brain functioning. So my wife and I take 5-gram creatinine gummies once a day. A recent study found that the lower concentrations of omega-3 fatty acids in women may help explain why women are more likely to develop Alzheimer's disease. This might be remedied by women consuming more foods and supplements with omega-3s, for example, by eating more salmon. Well, we know that beta amyloid plaques and tau tangles characteristically appear in the brains of people with Alzheimer's. Alois Alzheimer also identified the presence of lipid or fat droplets in the brain. Failure to move the fats out of the cells may be a part of the Alzheimer's pathology, and it may be we haven't been paying enough attention to this. And it may be that a poor balance between LDL and HDL cholesterol is inhibiting the proper metabolism of these fats, causing them to accumulate. Cholesterol has an important role in fat metabolism. This appears to be more the case with women, and some believe it might explain why women are more likely to develop Alzheimer's. Part of the equation is the omega-3 fatty acids found in, for example, some fish oils. The recommendation would be to ensure you are consuming enough omega-3 fatty acids, especially if you are a woman. Question: is Alzheimer's actually an autoimmune disease? We knew that changes in sense of smell can suggest the onset of Alzheimer's, but why? In Beating the Dementia Monster, we discussed the microglia cells that form part of the unique immune system in the brain, and they also play a role in Alzheimer's. Recent research suggests that a loss of control of the brain's special immune processes causes the microglia to incorrectly identify olfactory nerves and attack them. This would occur in the context of the development of Alzheimer's disease. Hence, there is a correlation between loss of smell and the appearance of the disease. We've written in our blog that there's ample evidence associating vitamin D supplementation with brain health. It's not just about strong bones. Vitamin D consumption, whether in mind diet or with supplements, or the development of vitamin D due to exposure to sunlight, appears to protect the telomeres that protect us. And then new research reinforces our understanding of the role that problems in the gut might play in influencing the development of Alzheimer's. The solution to this problem is, of course, a high fiber diet, which is the answer to a lot of problems in the gut. Apparently, immune cells in an unhealthy gut can travel to the periphery of the brain and contribute to the development of the disease, at least in mice. Well, this finding reinforces our existing observation that a high fiber diet is essential to brain health. It opens the door to more possibilities in how to understand and treat the disease. And now there's a new 3-minute brainwave test that, so far, appears to be very good at diagnosing Alzheimer's. It's called the fastball EEG. Apparently, it's more reliable than the hours of testing I was subject to when I was diagnosed. Basically, the subject learns a set of 8 pictures. Then he or she is shown a blast of pictures at a rate of 3 per second. 1 in 5 of these is one of the 8 pictures the subject learned previously. The EEG equipment then registers a reaction the brain has to what it sees. This is pretty interesting, but for ease of administration, it'll come in second to the new blood tests we've been seeing, and it may be no more accurate. My sense is that this test might be good at recognizing hippocampus damage caused by Alzheimer's, but it doesn't probe the other parts of the brain which may be failing due to other neurodegenerative diseases and disorders. But who am I? I'm not a doctor. I just read stuff. Thanks for watching. I hope you find this kind of thing as interesting as I do. There are links to more information on each of these topics in the show notes below. Hopefully, I'll have more soon enough. We also have links to our book, Beating the Dementia Monster, and to our blog. On the blog, we have more than 550 articles on how to beat the dementia monster. Thanks and have a great day.